How's my lighting doing here? Everybody, and welcome back. It's Jessica here, and today I'm going to give you guys a colossal update, as well as let you know what's been going on the last month and why I've been a little MIA. Also, at the end of the video, I'm going to ask for your help on something, so stick around for that. Alright, to give you guys a quick recap, if you might recall, I was diagnosed with IBS several years ago. Over the past year and a half, my symptoms have gotten so bad that I sought out more testing and more treatment through my general practitioner, and then when that didn't work, I switched to natural and holistic methods to try to find healing and symptom relief. Alright, so since like October, I've been trying to get off my medication, I've been changing my diet, and in December, I started seeing a naturopathic doctor. You might recall from my previous videos that we had done some testing on my GI tract. We were looking for leaky gut and some other bacteria and parasites. We were also testing me for SIBO and IBS, and we ran a hormone panel. Okay, so a month ago, I went back to my naturopathic doctor and we got 3 out of the 4 tests back. We got the IBS and SIBO test back, we got the GI map test back, and we also got the leaky gut test back. So those were the 3 that we started with. Basically, those test results showed that I was off the charts for leaky gut. There were several parameters that were above the reportable range, and what that means is they give you a range of where people most likely fall. I didn't even fall in the high category, I fell above that. So definitely some significant markers for leaky gut. I also tested positive for a handful of bacteria and parasites, as well as gluten sensitivity. That was some enlightening information, but not really anything that surprised me. I did test positive for the good flora, the stuff that people take probiotics for. I tested really high for that. And what my naturopathic doctor explained to me was basically from testing high for that, it does show that there's kind of a battle going on, that there's bacteria, both good and bad, and they're fighting each other. And so the good bacteria is being built up to try to fight the bad bacteria. So that's a good sign. I also got the IBS test back. Now, if you recall, my general practitioner is the one who diagnosed me with IBS. This test that I took with a naturopathic doctor showed 4 significant markers, 2 for IBS and 2 for SIBO. I only tested positive for 1 of the IBS markers. I didn't test positive for any of the others. I did show some in the ranges, but they were all normal and low. The IBS one wasn't that high. It did test high, but it wasn't like off the charts. And for me to be so symptomatic over the past year and a half, it's kind of frustrating to see a score that low when I expected that score to just be astronomical, based on what my general practitioner had said. Based on those test results, he set me up with a treatment plan, and the treatment plan could last anywhere from 3 to 6 months, maybe longer depending on what's going on and how severe my symptoms are and how quickly I progress. And the treatment plan consisted mostly of supplements. He sent me home with 4 supplements that I've been doing over the past month. And those supplements seem to be helping. He wanted me to stay on the FODMAP diet, so I've been doing that. And between the 2, I did actually see some symptomatic relief. So now let me explain why I haven't been checking in. And first, let me apologize profusely for that. I am so sorry, you guys, for not having been here and giving you updates. Even my own family's like, hey, why haven't you posted an update? And so let me explain a little bit about what happened. So the first week that I saw my naturopathic doctor, my plan was to come in that weekend and record an update. And I got called into work. So my plans kind of got slashed when that happened, and I had to rearrange. Okay, so then the next week, life was just hectic. Work was crazy, and between my husband and I's schedule, things were just nuts, and there wasn't any time to allow for it. I wish I had better hindsight, and I wish I would have blocked out time, because the next week, things kind of went sideways. So during the 3rd week, I had actually blocked out some time to sit down and record, and I got up that day to record, and I was having one of those days that felt like Final Destination. Do you guys ever have that, like the movie Final Destination, where all these inanimate objects in your life are like attacking you? Because that's how I felt. All right, so the morning I'm going to record, I get up that morning and I'm going about my normal routine. I get up, let the dogs out, I start my coffee, I take my supplements, I let the dogs back in. When I go back to my coffee, I noticed that the coffee filter had fallen over and it like flooded. The coffee pot had like gotten all jammed and there was coffee and coffee grinds everywhere. So I start cleaning that up. After I get done remaking the coffee, I look down and my dog has gone to the bathroom in my kitchen after I let her out. So I clean that up. Then I start straightening up a little bit. I go and take a shower. I start doing my hair and makeup. I burn my hand. I burn my ear. I almost dropped the straightener on my foot. Well, I finally get done getting ready and I'm like, okay, I can do this. So I gather up all my stuff to come in and record and I get everything all set up and I'm trying to get everything ready to go. I use mostly natural light when I'm recording. So I'm fiddling with the curtains, trying to get it right, and I've got everything else ready to go. I've had to kind of fight it to get it here, but I've got everything here. And I'm messing with the curtains and all of a sudden the curtain rod falls out of the window and hits the lamp behind me, which then falls and hits me in the head. And as I turn to try to catch all that stuff, the curtain rod moves and knocks everything off my table, including my computer and all my gear and all my setup that I'd worked really hard to get going. Almost broke my computer, and at that point I was like, you know what, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. So I just left it. I got up, I was like, I can't do this, I'm done. I just left everything there and I got up and I walked back into the kitchen and my dogs had proceeded to make another huge mess. And so I cleaned that up, and as I'm cleaning that up, I just start falling apart and I start crying. I'm so overwhelmed and I'm so stressed out and I don't feel well and I'm just having one of those days. I called my sister-in-law and I just unloaded on her for like 45 minutes. I was like, my house is a mess and everything's all cluttered and I'm overwhelmed and I can't get better and I don't understand why everything's taking so long or why it's so expensive and everything's just so hard right now, you know, and I'm just having one of those days where I just needed to let it out. And it was at that moment that I realized I'm really depressed and I'm really disappointed in a lot of things that are going on in my life. I started trying to explore that emotion of being depressed and disappointed and figure out where it was coming from. And what I figured out was that even though I'm feeling better, I'm still somewhat symptomatic and I'm just so tired of being sick, you know? After seeing my naturopathic doctor that week, I was just disappointed in the fact that it was mostly supplements. I was disappointed in the fact that he told me I would feel worse before I felt better. I wanted to give up, in all honesty, and that's where I was at that week. I actually decided I was going to go ahead and push through some of that emotion, and the next week was going to record a video. I'd blocked out some time to do that. I'd set out that block of time for like Tuesday. Sunday morning I get up, I'm fine, but by Tuesday I am in a full-blown attack. I am belchy, nauseated, I have all the symptoms, heart palpitations, I feel absolutely horrible. So I decided to skip it and I would try to get to it the next week. That weekend, I ended up catching the viral infection that everybody's going around, the one that looks like the flu but isn't the flu. You have all the same symptoms. Thank God it's not the flu. But I was down for that for a couple of days. So that gets you up to now. Okay, so that gets you all caught up to last week, which is when I went and saw my naturopathic doctor for my follow-up visit. All right, so this time my naturopathic doctor had the test results back for the hormone panel. And what it showed him based on those results is that I have indicators for polycystic ovarian syndrome as well as prediabetes. Now, based on my research and what I talked about with my naturopathic doctor over the past couple of days is that could all be the reason why I'm having these symptoms. So I made an appointment to follow up with my gynecologist and I see him later this week. So hopefully the next time I see you, I'll have an update about what he said. So based on those test results, he changed up my treatment plan a little bit, started including some supplements to help regulate my endocrine system. We also are looking at some diet changes. I'm still FODMAPing, but I'm moving more towards an anti-inflammatory diet. Should help reduce some of the inflammation in my body, which should better help regulate my endocrine system. So I'm really excited about these test results. I feel really positive, way less depressed than I was, way less disappointed than I was. And now I'm feeling like there's a little bit of hope, and it's been a long time since I felt really hopeful about my health. So I can't wait to see what happens. It could take 2 to 3 months for some of these supplements to kick in. So I'll let you know how that progresses as we go along. Okay, so here's where you guys come in. Like I mentioned, over the past month, I've been doing a ton of research based on the test results I've gotten as well as the new information I found. Over the past couple of days, I've started doing research over polycystic ovarian syndrome, prediabetes, the endocrine system, and the anti-inflammatory diet. What I need help with is if you guys have found any research. There's so much out there, and a lot of it's contradictory to one another, especially in the blogosphere. But if you found some really good, useful information, could you share that down in the comments below? I think it would be really helpful for me as well as anybody else who might be checking in trying to do some research on their own about these types of things. Also, if you know of anyone who's got any tips, tricks, or ideas or has done some research, share this video with them so that they can add to the comments down below. I'll be following along and checking in, sharing anything that I find as well. You guys are awesome. Thanks for watching, and as always, God bless.